1 of the Anime Dojo. Do apologize. We have a little bit of technical difficulties. No worries, though. We're going to roll back into what we're doing. So like we had talked about prior, we had talked about the anime charts where you saw that Jujutsu Kaisen, Mugen Tensei, and Psalm 100 at the top 3. And then from there, you had My Family. You had one of the tops of The Girl That Forgot Her Glasses, moved up 8 spots. And then everything else pretty much the same. The big takeaway from that is that we don't have your Bleach anymore, or Bleach, the 1,000-year series they're doing. A lot of people thought that was taking over a lot of spots. That is now gone. And a lot of other things have kind of stayed in there, Stray Dogs and all that. Me and Chris were kind of talking about the fact that this chart's pretty much stayed the same. And would you agree, Chris, that now to the end of the season that we're going to see it stay the same?
Yep.
The big other thing I will mention, and I think a lot of people are going to be kind of annoyed by, and we didn't talk about this first time around when we first started recording this till it conked out. I think the big thing I think a lot of people are going to be annoyed by is the fact that Kaizen's going to kind of be the stopgap between this season and the fall season. Do you think it should have the right to do that, or it should be set to one season?
No, honestly, I think if they can make it and do it like that, I'm all for it. I'm for it.
Okay.
Because then that would, if they didn't go that way, then I would be more inclined to be like Dion.
Okay. All right. Yeah, because I think Dion mentioned that he thought. Didn't he say like he thought it was kind of weird that they took the break for Kaizen, or did I say? I don't know if I said it or he said it. One of us mentioned it, and that break was kind of going to be the beginning of next fall, kind of in that fall season. We're going to December. That is also true.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got into the first big news item. The first big news item we had mentioned right off the bat was that Dead Mount Death Play is coming back October 9th. That's something me, Chris, and Dion are looking forward to. This is gonna be, and we talked about the key art, and the key art, like we explained, we have a lot of new characters, and I brought up the fact that I wonder if we're gonna go to another. Are they coming to their world? So Pokey people come to their world, or are we gonna have them come to ours? Or they go to his. I hope it's either one. That will be so much fun to do. I hope the plot's more cohesive. This plot hasn't been as cohesive for some reason. I think me and Chris had a hard time believing some of the stuff they did. I don't know if that's because they didn't do certain things right, but you have the major players there. You have Clarice, you have the blonde-haired cop, you have Solitaire, who's been in there before. You have Pokey, you have the zombie girl, you have Tech Dude. Question for that, Chris. It's interesting. Did you think that it's where they show the blonde-haired cop, but not the black-haired cop? Because they were partners.
Honestly, I would have probably had to go back and watch that because I didn't notice that. I remember when I watched it, I remember that the blonde hair guy was kind of like in charge of the mission and while he was intimidating the guy. But I thought that the black hair character was at least sitting in the background with him.
Well, he was whipping on the last mission, but in the key art for this, that key art we just talked about, he's not in the key art at all. So I'm wondering if he's going to be just taking out the story completely, or is that just going to be something happens, we find out later.
Good question. Because at this point, it seems like we're going to find out later.
Correct. Then we had some other news items from Anime TV. These were both from Anime TV. The last one was Castlevania. I'm kind of interested in how Netflix is going to do a Castlevania series, and a Castlevania series that's going to be more colorful, interesting, colorful world, talking about somebody who's dealt with demons, Dracula, all that kind of stuff. Chris, you said that you never really played it or seen anything about it. So are you looking forward to watching it, or are you just going to kind of wait to see how it kind of plans out?
At this point, I'm kind of waiting to see how it comes out. You know me, I'm usually kind of wait on recommendations.
So that is coming out September 29th. And then our last big news thing before I get to the question of the night is that we had a leak for Attack on Titan season 4. It's supposed to come out November. I think it's November 8th, November 18th or 19th. It's middle of November. First of all, what do you think about it's coming out in November of all times? And secondly, when they say leak, did somebody leak this out, or did they just kind of put this information out there now because we already had it?
Sounds like they just threw it out there, if you're asking me. Because I mean, it might have been a leak, but it's to me it seems like one of those leaks that the company kind of put out there. You know, just to kind of generate its own buzz.
So yes, so Attack on Titan, the anime series, is finally over. Get ready on November 4th for Attack on Titan, the final chapter, Special 2. One thing on Crunchyroll. One thing I hate about Attack on Titan, they do their weird titles, and I don't like the fact it's the final season, the final chapter, Special 2, which means we're probably going to get another 3, but oh well.
Yep. Oh well, indeed.
I'm like you. I've been trying to watch through season 3. It got slow and boring. I watched a part of season 4. Got slow. It's still slow and boring. Me and Chris talked about it. We might just wait till the family's fully done and just binge watch it all, which I'll be fine with. But I hope this is the final season. It probably won't be, but hey, I can dream.
Sure can.
But that's the big news stuff that came out this week. I think out of everything we've talked about here, I think the Dead Mount Deathblade thing was big for us. I think Castlevania, like Chris said, and like I think it's going to be more of that. Just wait and see how it does. And then Attack on Titan. We both have watched Attack on Titan. We love the series, but catching up now would be kind of insane. With less than a month, like a little more than a month before it comes out in November. So that's going to be something I think that will come out later. But before we get to Jujutsu Kaisen episode 31, season 2, get that up while we finish up this opening salvo. And like I said, I do apologize for technical difficulties. Things happen, so we kind of can't really do that. We're dealing with technology. But the question of the night is this: me and Chris just finished last night. Finished watching One Piece live action season 1. And I have to say this, I implore you, if you're not a One Piece fan, go out of your way to watch this because it's actually really, really well done. Secondly, I think if you want to see more stuff like this, more of One Piece, I think it will just help them have the ability to make it. But here's my question. Is One Piece live action the best anime adaptation to live action we've seen ever?
You want to ask that right now? Mm-hmm. In my opinion, yes, it is. It's the first one that they've done right by everybody. It sticks to the anime. It looks good. It's clean. It's well thought out. They stick to the story. Man, I don't have nothing but compliments for it.
And I'll preface my comments because I know people are gonna be like, wait. How can you say that? Here's the thing. Cowboy Bebop. Okay, not great. Ghost in the Shell, the movie, actually, not the live action movie they made for Ghost in the Shell. A lot of people didn't like that. I can go down a list of things we've gotten video game wise: Doom, Halo. And yes, you can throw back in my face the fact that they spent almost movie level budget to make this show, but at the same time, that movie level budget did a pretty good job.
That's what I'm saying.
Like characters are well done, animation, the way the fight scenes are done looks beautiful. I know I heard a review from somebody this morning I watched that he's a really good reviewer. He's like, it seems like a lot of people thought Zoro, which was actually really interesting. I didn't think about this. Zoro was too good looking for the character, which is funny. I'm like, wait a minute. I'm guessing Zoro is not supposed to be as good looking based on the anime adaptation, because the anime he's more grungy, more kind of like.
Randy, you almost made me cuss.
I know. I know. I was gonna. I know.
Yeah.
I think it's crazy people say that, because I thought, wait, the character's supposed to be kind of a bad dude that's good at what he does, but at the same time he doesn't care. He could care less. So go ahead.
When I hear that comment, dude, it's really in my mind. I say, you know what? People complain about anything and everything.
But
Like, you know, they just can't let something be good and just to say it's good. It's got to be something wrong with it. But then
I
again, bro, people have their opinions, and well,
yeah.
yeah.
But I also think too, like, the only reason I bring up the question, because like I've seen a couple episodes of One Piece here and there. I'm not the biggest fan, but watching this live action gives me the ability to go, could I really go sit in the movie? Could I really go sit out and watch Crunchyroll and watch the anime through? I'm like, I want to, but I don't want to, because a lot of episodes. I'd be here for a while. Could be doing other things, but it has gave me a thing of like, okay, you've intrigued me, which is a good thing. And there are a few things that are kind of off-putting. Yeah, I think there's a few things missing in certain episodes, but the things that are missing don't feel like they're missing too strongly. I think out of all the backstories we saw from the show, Nami has the best backstory. Nami has one of the saddest backstories. I won't spoil it. If you want to go watch for yourself, please do. Zoro probably has the weakest backstory, but it actually works against everybody else's, because he's probably the only person that his backstory is the shortest, but it actually makes him feel stronger.
Right.
So he gets a lot more out of his backstory. Luffy is Luffy. The guy who's playing Luffy is amazing. That character, the way they did the character is great. Like, the story for him is amazing. Admiral's good. Do I think there's a little bit of things they could have probably changed? Yes. Do I think it's an overhaul necessary? No. I didn't find out this until I heard the review this morning from the guy. Most of the main cast did their own stunts.
Yep.
Which I didn't. I'm like, well, that's why the fight scenes were pretty decent, because everybody doing their own stunts. He's the guy who plays Zoro is from Japan, and they talk about he has a dad that's been in martial arts and does stunt work. So that stuff was pretty real. That was good. I have to ask you, Chris, do you think they're going to make another season anytime soon? Or is it just going to be like a back and forth thing where the seasons come later? Because I only think it's going to be more of a back and forth. Maybe they make a season here, wait till after the strike's done, and then make another season. But this season's gone pretty well. Nevertheless, still fun, interesting. But I will say, if you're getting into it for the first time, you're going to have a lot more fun learning about the characters and learning about um, everything going on.
Not bad, bro.
No, you're good. Uh,
But to answer your question though,
mhm.
I do like Netflix has created a demand. So I definitely and then they've already announced that it is going to be a season 2.
Somebody brought this up, and I thought this was interesting. Somebody, I don't know if I saw it on my Google thing on my phone or something. They talked about if they want to adapt the full series of One Piece to live action, it would take 14 seasons,
Mm-hmm.
including the one we just started, including when we just finished. Do you think they would legitimately do that?
As long as they can keep a hype out for it, yeah.
I I've never seen a show so interesting and so fun, and yet it's like it kept you in the action. And it was an hour. These episodes were like an hour long,
Yeah. For
and
real, for real.
it didn't feel like you were watching an hour long episode. You felt like you were watching 30 minutes. It felt like you were watching a normal anime episode.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's the crazy part to me, and I think that's the most fun thing for me to learn about all this. But I will say this: if you aren't the type of person to could break your disbelief about things, so like Luffy's powers are kind of weird because they're stretchy powers, so you kind of have to make it look legit. They do make it really look legit, and you mentioned Chris that the guy who plays Luffy has pretty long limbs, so you don't really have to do much to make it look legit. Um, or the long arms. I say limbs, I meant arms. And a lot of other things too. Like I think if anything, the only thing I would want to see in season 2, add the more other characters, keep building that story well enough to where you keep fans engaged. But I think you also have to make sure that people won't tune out after a bit or like have slow parts. I mean, the slowest I said yesterday, the slowest episodes for me were 3 and 4
Yep.
of the season, only because they're the slower side of the backstory of um, Zoro, and even to a lesser extent, it starts the backstory for Nami, but it doesn't really fully kick into that backstory until we get to like episode 6. But we have the beginnings of that. But if I had to rank them, I think it's One Piece. I think it's Cowboy Bebop, and I think it's Ghost in the Shell. What else would I want to see get better? Okay, question for you: what else would you want to see get a live action adaptation that actually could be done
Ooh.
well?
Dr. Stone.
Based on this, and I hate to be, I don't know, I don't want to put that on me for, but I'm going to. I think you could do one for Demon Slayer,
Mm.
only because the sword work in this show in One Piece, you could really do well in Demon Slayer. If you do it right, you can make it look interesting and cool.
Yeah.
And the other animation I think you could do, which I don't think they would ever do, but I could see it. Uh, give me. I know this probably won't happen. Give me a Jujutsu Kaisen adaptation.
No. Yes.
I'm asking for something that's probably impossible because the way Jujutsu Kaisen works, that doesn't make any sense. But I can see it being done if you do it right. Like you do the animation rights and stuff, or the choreograph, the way they do their like motions and things. It's not hard. It would be terrible, but the like showing it off to people in like a cool way, yeah. But a good example of that, look at, I think Luffy's limbs. You even see the pirate Bugsy,
Mm-hmm.
who has the ability to detach his body. They did that pretty well, really well to make it make sense, but it works. So it can be done. I don't think it's too crazy. But let us know what y'all think about the question I put out there. What do you think the best live action adaptation of an anime is as ones we've had? Um, I want to see more of One Piece. And I will say this: if I'll put it on Twitter, people who listen to the show and stuff, and just in our sense, if you want us to, we would ultimately. We wouldn't do an episode every week or so, but every couple weeks, might just do one episode, One Piece on the anime side, and just talk about it and see how much it had the first season, how much of it did it really leave out. If y'all want to hear about that, please let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up in the YouTube comments, that kind of stuff. But let's get into the main course this podcast tonight. Let's get into Jujutsu Kaisen episode 31, the evening festival. Well, we got left with the biggest cliffhanger I think in a while from episode 30, where Mekamaru was fighting Bahito, and he just left off with a giant blast to the face. No explosion. We didn't see that yet. Nothing's happened. Before we get into this episode proper, I hope you're getting it. Hope you have it up. What do you think about the cliffhanger at the last episode? Do you think we get more of those throughout the season, or do you think this is going to be one of a few?
Bro, I'd be surprised if. Oh snap! I said I won't be surprised if we get a cliffhanger, if not every episode, at least every other episode.
Do you think that's going to be too much? Because I think at this point, if you're doing a cliffhanger every episode, you're giving people. You're giving people what they want, but you're also leaving people with questions that they need to answer.
Maybe so, but we've learned that they know that they can do it right.
Yes, they can.
Just,
They can.
I mean, so
They can.
honestly, that kind of those kind of yeah, those kind of foreshadowings are going to make is what the anime is gonna
Mm-hmm.
is gonna push the anime.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hmm.
So I will say 3, 2, 1, and then we'll get started. Chris, you ready?
Yeah.
All right. In 3, 2, 1, let's go.
Ooh man.
The colors in this is amazing.
Brandon, what if you woke up in the morning and you saw that looking out your window?
I would probably barricade my doors and not leave my house.
As if your door could stop something like that.
Yeah, no, I know my door can't stop him like that. I understand that question. Anything I do, really, it's not going to really matter. I'm going to get blasted away anyway, so it's not going to really matter.
At least I can do is try to drive out the way.
Yeah, pretty much. I love the fact that they literally rewound back to the previous episode, showed that the blast happened, and showed us the aftermath of the blast and the beginning of this part. I'm
Instant replay.
like you did a little instant replay and then go fast forward back to live. I'm like, okay, all right. I don't know how you managed that, but it worked.
Man, so yeah, If the cliffhangers come back like that, I'm for it.
Oh, absolutely. That's a good cliffhanger because that just makes it like, okay, you did both things right. You showed us what happened. You remind us from last week, but you also showed us what the current things happening.
Yep. Came around full circle.
Man, this animation for this opening.
Man. You know what though? I want to see more animes that use American music. Don't get me wrong, I love all music, but like just for once, I would like to see what they would put like to the windows, to the wall on. You know what I'm saying? What kind of
But
anime deserves that type
yeah,
of intro?
here's the thing: you could do it. The only problem with it is probably through converting it to kanji. So converting it to Japanese.
Maybe so, but yeah.
But yeah, I think I can see it. You just have to find the right song.
I mean, they did it with Dragon Ball Z. Watch the
Oh yeah,
Dragon Ball Z. Yeah.
oh yeah, they did. They did. You're right.
Mm.
Wait, so what is my Hito's ultimate goal here?
Mahito, the white haired dude,
Yeah, what's his ultimate goal with this? Like, I don't really understand.
he wants to manipulate as many people as he can,
Uh,
both physically and mentally. Yeah, well, and spiritually, I guess too.
yeah. You want to punch something? Yeah. Literally ripped your arm off with a pellet.
And, and got kicked.
Yep.
See,
Wait, I thought spirits don't have souls. I thought the curses don't have souls.
I think after they become so powerful, they do.
Oh, so they regain a soul. Okay. I will say one thing. Beckamaru did kind of everything wrong here. I would have just ran away.
That was his goal all along, and I don't know why he didn't. So
I'm like, you literally got your body back. Run. I'm not sticking around to try to fight Mahito. And then you're going to fight. You want to fight uh, Sekiro. I'm like, no. Or you want to fight Ghetto. I'm like, no, don't fight him. Just leave.
ooh, that's a beautiful scene.
The lighting on that is just amazing.
Honestly, I almost feel like I was watching Powerpuff Girls for a minute. I got to admit though, right here, this is where Demon Slayer beats him.
Why? Oh,
Look at the detail in the animation.
yeah. It's not very detailed. I think they kind of let that not be a detailed. But you like that's the part people were talking about when you slow it down or just frame frame it. It doesn't look as detailed because it's kept in motion.
But maybe that's how they, distributed their budget for this.
Yeah.
They probably save all the good stuff for the last few episodes.
Oh, that's creepy. That is so creepy. He did domain expansion with his hand in his mouth. I'm like, wait, how does that work? He took down a whole mech.
Hmm.
So when you're in a domain, you can't use your coast technique, correct?
No, you can. You're just subjected to the laws of that dimension.
Oh, okay. That dimension. All right. That's why his stuff went away, but he can still use if you want to use curse energy. You
Right.
could, but there's no point.
Ooh.
Right through the stomach.
Bro, you know what I've noticed?
Mm-hmm.
This season of anime does not care about pointing the middle finger at all.
Nope. Yeah, I'm about to say, did you? I noticed that a couple times. I was like, wait, they have no they have no care.
Because I've seen it in almost every show we've watched.
Even One Piece, for that matter.
Hmm. And here's where you messed up.
Yeah, I wouldn't have gone after Ghetto. I would have just ran.
Right.
9 years of Curse Energy won't beat Ghetto.
Nah, man, you might need a few decades,
Decades. You need about hundreds, a couple hundred years.
a few centuries. Huh?
Come on, like, yeah, he wasn't dead.
That is the most creepiest smile, though.
Yes, it is. So I know he's a puppet master. Basically, he's a sorcerer puppet mastery. But can he call puppets from anywhere? Is that what they're trying to say here?
As long as he has them somewhere near.
Okay, so that's what the point.
Like, I don't think he can just create them out of thin air.
Man, this
I
color
like the
palette.
color. Yep. The color and combination of that is a lot. Is a lot. Ooh.
Okay, that's creepy.
Ooh.
I love the fact they didn't show it that he died, that he might have died, but I think he's dead.
I don't think he's dead, man. He can't. He can't die like that.
Or he's seriously wounded.
If anything, he probably got reverted back to his other state.
Where he was hurt and he had to be in the bed.
Mm.
Yeah, or the bath, not the bed. What was her name again?
I honestly don't remember.
Okay, but I know she has a sword. That's what I do remember.
Yes, he carries that sword.
Shibuya.
You know, I was about to say, I wonder if this anime actually comes out on Halloween, but no, it comes out on Thursdays. I think Halloween's on a Tuesday.
We'll have the key art for this on the Tuesday, like that. All that stuff will come out on Tuesday. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. But the episode it would have been needed if the episode itself came out on Halloween,
Mm-hmm.
especially since they are saying that the events of it are finna repeat themselves.
Yeah. By the way, don't she look? What's she pointing at? Oh yeah, she points up the moon. How do you make a 400-meter veil where no human can go? No humans can go out of it, but sorcerers can go into it. And they're getting sucked into like a train station.
Now, see, that looked like something from out of Stranger Things.
Yes, it did. For Shiguro. The guy, I remember the guy. I can't think of his name. And then nominee.
I like how everybody has a senior though.
Yeah. He referenced the night parade of the 100 demons.
And that was on Christmas.
That was on Christmas. Oh, wow. I love the fact that guys like, I want to get out. They're like, oh, we're fine. We can still.
'That's hard to. That's a. Mm. 8:31. Satoru Gojo arrives.
All right. This episode, watching it the second time, is really good and really well done.
Yep.
So, Chris, I'm going to ask you this. How do you want me to do this? Do you want me to break this piece by piece, or do you want me to go through it fully? And then we can
Go through the whole thing, buddy, and I'll summarize.
All right, fair enough. So I'm going to go through the whole thing. We leave off where the last episode ended. So we leave off showing that Mekamaru was about to do this big blast to Meta Hito, Then they literally show an instant replay of that, then go back to live and show us what happened after that. After that, he hits him, kind of burned a little bit. Mahito's like, "Are you gonna keep doing that? You're gonna just waste all your cursed energy." All right, fine, go ahead, waste all your cursed energy. Mechamaru's like, "I just need to beat this dude. I don't care how I beat him. I'm gonna beat him." Then he charges up he's about to charge up another attack. Well, before we see that attack, we hit the credits. Credits go roll through. Then we come back. He's thinking kind of about what he needs to do. He charged up this attack that uses 5 more years of his cursed energy. 5 more years, by the way. This attack really doesn't do much to Mahito. Burns a little bit more, gets some more things into him. But then he's like, okay, I need to change my tactic. I need to change what I need to do. So Mechamaru's like, okay, fine. I'll do this like a little finger gun thing. Puts like a dart, like when you want to, like a dart in the arm of Mahito. The dart explodes, bursts his arm, breaks it. And Mahito says, "How do you do that? He tore my soul." And I'm like, I didn't know demons had soul. I didn't know how spirits had souls, but like Chris said, after you get so powerful, you probably gain a soul. Would make sense. And then Mechamaru thinks, "Oh, I killed him. Good, we're fine." Nope. He starts flying away. He's like, "How did he fly? How do you regenerate his arm?" He's a spirit. And here's the thing: he's a spirit. The man's a spirit. Like, he can regenerate super fast. Also, you shouldn't be doing this fight anyway, but that's on you. So then Mechamaru is like, you know what? I'm gonna charge another. He charged up a couple years. He had started charging up a 5-year one, but he backed off it. Now he fully charges up the 5-year one that he's gonna use, shoots it, and it's just like this color and like looks something out like Chris said, a Power Rangers show. And like the colors and the way it's motion and all that looks amazing. So he throws it out there. Doesn't really do much to Mahito. Mahito kind of just flies away, gets out of it. Then one of them does hit him, but doesn't hit him like fully. It doesn't really hurt him. So Mechamaru's like, "Oh, got him. Good. Now I can put my whole attention to Gojo or to Geto." And I'm like, "You have the chance to run. I would have run. I'm not fighting Geto. You have 9 years." He's like, "I have 9 years left. I can use all 9 years to fight Geto." I'm like, "Yeah, you're not fighting Geto with all 9 years." But he's thinking about it. Mahito comes back. Mahito fights him off, puts him in his domain expansion, pretty much nullifying Mechamaru's abilities. Then Mechamaru's like, "You know what? You put me in domain expansion, fine. I'm going to do a simple domain." He does a simple domain, pretty much nullifying Mahito's domain, stabbing Mahito in the chest, thinking he's finally dead. He can fully put his attention towards Geto. Nope. Let's see. Mahito comes back again, and Mechamaru's like, "Wait, I stabbed you. You should be dead." And he's like, "No. Yeah, right. No, that doesn't work like that." And then Mahito takes his spike, like he takes his fist and literally just punches Mechamaru right in the face. Then we have this weird sequence of battle where the colors change and the way each character looks like they make this fight scene where Mahito looks like a scary dude. It's just smiling creepily while he's fighting Mechamaru. They go at each other, and we don't see the final confrontation, so we don't see what happens. And they cut away. They cut away to the blue-haired girl from his school that he's part of the school in the other school with. She's talking to the actual mech that's sitting in the chair with her, that's asleep technically. And she goes, "You know, we got so close after the baseball game," which I love the fact they reference the movie. They reference season 1, but they also reference the movie, and the movie is now canon to this arc. I like that. She referenced that we got so close to the baseball game. I just want to become more of a family, more family, more together, and everything. And so she's still talking to him. He's not, the mech that's sitting there is not really listening. Then we cut back. Mahito and Geto are walking back, and Geto says, "Why'd you go through all that trouble to fight him? You could have caused a lot of damage." He's like, Mahito's like, "I didn't really cause a lot of damage. The damage I caused was very minor." Basically saying you should see Beckham. He's probably not well right now. Throughout this, Ghetto's like, well, I figured out what I need to do for my plan in a couple months. He doesn't say when the plan is. He said, I figured out stuff for my plan. And he picks up this like nail looking cursed object looking thing. And they leave. Then we cut to Shibuya. And Shibuya, they say it's Halloween 2018. And then they show all these people having fun, enjoying the Halloween time, just hanging out, drinking, hanging out with friends, all that kind of stuff. Then one of the girls in this like Wonder Woman costume looking thing, and a guy who's in like this Superman costume looking thing. Not the actual characters, but similar kind of type superhero characters. She points at the sky, points at the moon. She says, "Did you see that?" And you can barely really tell because it's not really shown off super well until you get close up on it. A veil is slowly coming down. A veil that can cover 400 meters. I don't know how much that is in feet. I don't know how much that's in miles. I'm not going to try to do that math in my head right now.
Right.
But that's a long way, pretty much. That's pretty much a long way. That covers a good amount of the city. And everybody's like wondering why this veil's come down. This one dude who's pretty much out drunk, runs into the veil, gets knocked over. People start laughing, like, that's kind of funny. We can get out of here. Then people kind of panic because they can't get out of here. Then the scene we see next, all these people crowded. So we're seeing the shot from, I think this is kind of well. So the camera's facing the crowd. We're looking at the crowd, and there's something behind the crowd, which is like a train station or something. And you see this like gust of wind coming from behind them, and it blows all these people into this gust of wind, and everybody starts screaming. It was really well done, really kind of creepy. I don't know why. This was insane. So then after that scene, we get all the teams. We get the first team, which was, the first team we see technically is Fujiguro, Nanami, and the guy from the first season, but also has also been in the movie as well, as a team. And they basically talking to the guy that helped the main character in season 1, who's also in season 2, get up his upstart extra high, basically saying, we have this veil. This veil, y'all can go in and out pretty easily, sort of can, but people can't. They want Gojo. And it's funny, he doesn't even say they want Gojo. He goes, they're looking for somebody or someone. They're asking for someone. And Nanami asks, where's Gojo? Then we literally cut. They'll go answer that question. We get a cut. And we cut to the second team. The second team is by the small thing. It's the girl that can use hammer and nails for her curse technique. It is the girl that doesn't have a curse technique, but she uses cursed weapons. And it's one of the other Zenin clan members as well. This was an interconversation because the girl's like, well, we can't. I advise y'all stay outside the veil. Do not do anything crazy. Y'all can walk in and out as you please, but stay away because they want Gojo, and we're gonna try to figure this out. I personally think it's kind of bad, but I'll get to the last team, and the one that has the cursed weapon, who's from the movie, but also from season 1. She also said she kind of looks at her like, why do we need to stay out the veil? That doesn't make any sense. Even the girl that's also Gojo's friends like, that seemed kind of weird. And the guy and the Zenin clan team member was like, okay, fine, we can do that. The last team is Panda and the guy from season 1, but also in the movie, that is the guy with the trench coat. He looks pretty cool. I love him. I love that. I love how that look of that character. It's pretty fun. But I think the thing here, this is where the conversation really gets thing. He goes, they just want Gojo. They want Gojo, but why is Gojo doing this alone? We could help him. Panda mentions that, but then the guy in the trench coat goes, well, I don't want to be in this mess anyway. It's already a mess out there. People are panicking. They're not really sure what's going on. This happened before. And then he mentions the the night where the 100 curses came out. I think it's 100 curses, 1,000 curses, whatever what the whole thing was. And like Chris mentioned, it happened on Christmas. So this happened before. We've seen this. They've showed it in season 1. And the movie, technically, as well. Then Panda's like, well, don't you care about the people? I mean, there's going to be innocent people getting hurt and just, things will happen. And the guy's like, I'd rather be out here than in there. So then we cut back to the people in the Vale. They go, one guy's like, where's Gojo? Where's Gojo? And then he's just screaming at the top of the, and one of the guys next to him's like, do you know who Gojo is? He's like, no, but they keep saying his name. We need to find him so we can get out of here.
Right.
Basically, and then they two girls in the middle of the crowd, so more center of the crowd. They're talking. They're like, "Why is everybody so at the screaming at the top of their lungs for everything? We're good. We can sit here all day." And I'm gonna say this. I don't mean this in the way I'm gonna say it, but I love what they did here. They make the girls like, we have our cell phones. We can be on social media. We can do whatever we want. I don't care. I'm in the Vale. I'm with my best friend. I look good. basically the thing of like, why should I be worried? And I kind of love that because it doesn't feel like it feels like it is genuine to them. They're not trying to do something crazy. But I do love the fact that girl mentions as they're talking, she goes, "Oh, we have no internet connection." And they show the phone, no connection. The guy, and then first he mentioned the fact that the Vale taked out cell phone signal, so they can't do anything about that. So basically, you try to call or do anything, you can't. It destroys cell phone signal. So that is taking that plot point and making a reality.
Right.
So now we see the guy back at the front talking to the little crowd in front of him. He's like, if y'all want to get out, we need to find this Gojo person so we can get this done. Whatever this is, and what we ever have to do, fine. We'll find him and bring him in here. Cool. As he's talking, you just see a hand come in the Vale. Hand comes in the Vale. You don't really know whose hand is it yet. You see kind of a more body shot. It's Gojo. Gojo knocks this dude over, and Gojo says, "Oh, sorry. You just knocked a dude. Okay." And then that's where the episode ends. I will say this. They did a good job setting this up. The one thing I do think is kind of funny throughout the whole setup of this is two things. They're referencing other events. So they're referencing the 100 the curses when that night happened. They referenced the baseball game. They referenced a couple other things that were movie-related things or season 1 related things. I'm actually happy they're referencing that stuff because now you have a context of like, oh, this is not the first time this has happened. This happened before. Why is it happening? Because Ghetto want to get at Gojo. That's the only reason why it's happening. Chris, what do you think about that? What is your whole analysis of this episode?
Man, okay. So looking at it from the beginning again, it was like I like the fact that they cut back to it, so it was like an immediately adrenaline rush. Like, so you can imagine if you were trying to watch this, or if you were binge watching this, you could do it. It's going to bring you right into it like you never left.
Yes,
So,
yes, it is.
So I think that was great. Now the fight scene, oh man, it was beautiful with all the different color schemes of doing. And
Oh, absolutely.
You thought I said Power Rangers. I said Powerpuff Girls.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I knew the P word. I couldn't remember what it was. So yeah,
You're right.
that makes more sense though. Both that Powerpuff Girls, the colors, the way it did it. Yeah. Yep. That works.
Exactly. So with that being said, that was and then they with that creepy smile, just like you mentioned, bro. That was straight out of a horror film.
That's
Man, I'm
that's
like,
that's a horror film and a half. And I love the fact that Mechamaru is basically like, I don't care. You're smiling so creepy. I'm gonna stab you in the heart. I'm just like, he literally doesn't care. He's just like, I'm gonna stab you and just get rid of you now. And I'm like, you should be scared.
exactly. So so then continuing from there, we go. they at the end of their fight scene, we really don't know what happened to old dude. You think that that dude got him just because he got up and walked away. I think dude had just enough spirit energy to get back to get back and have a fight.
Okay. I wonder
Well,
how they're
he
gonna.
just got away.
I wonder how they're gonna set that up though, because I think the interesting thing with that is you live this on a cliffhanger for that, but then the cliffhanger for that, are you going to show us next episode or are you going to wait? Because now we have this other thing that's starting with Gojo and them. So how do you explain it? But continue.
Okay, so I would like.
Did you cut out there?
My bad.
No worries.
Is that better?
Yeah, go ahead.
So now cutting back into it, we we catch up right back in the scene where the Mechamaru is talking to old girl.
Mm-hmm.
So and now the thing about it, she don't really know if he really did or not.
No, and
Yeah,
I think,
she just he talking, she talking and he listening. Like, nah.
but it's also funny. Did you remember in the first episode of the series, he says, "I'm going to take a nap," and he does, and the mech is turned off. So I don't know if he's even listening to what she's saying at all.
But the thing about it, she thinks that somebody is listening regardless.
Yes, somebody's listening
Somebody
regardless.
might not be listening at all. So that was the thing that I got from that. Now we take it to the scene where we're trying to figure out what's going on, and they show us a scene from what happened on Halloween in 2018, or where they're saying that it's Halloween. Like I kind of got a little confused at that point.
So that's current times. So
Right,
2018 Halloween is current day,
right.
which is odd because they don't say current day, but the end of the movie, but also the end of was it in the movie? No, the end of this last arc says current day. So the end of the hidden inventory arc is current day when he's sitting in the chair, all that kind of stuff. That is current times. So this is currently 2018.
Okay, so with that being said, um, we cut to that scene where they show us all the people being sucked in the subway. And to me, man, that kind of reminded me of a little bit of Stranger Things, bro. They be doing some creepy stuff like that.
Yeah, that isn't creepy. That was a creepy scene.
So going into that right there, once we now everybody's kind of standing around wondering what's going on, and they just kind of like go all the way around, you know.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. But I think the thing was with that, they didn't. It was funny because you can see the couple in front that's wearing like the face paint. They take a picture, and then you hear the wind, but then you don't
But
see
that's
anything. You don't see anything behind it. You just see the wind
but
come up, and you're like, "What are they getting sucked into?"
but that's why they were explaining the veil. They were explaining that the veil is people who have like some kind of jujitsu warrior power, whether they know it or not. They're going to see it.
Correct.
Everybody else won't.
Correct.
But little to them, they don't know, but they can walk through the wall. They just
Yes.
haven't tried. So, but then from there we just go and we meet who everybody's partnered up with, and you see everybody stationed. So now it's like from then on they setting up till finally the man of the hour arrives, the one everybody been waiting for. Finally walked through.
Yeah.
Boom.
Yeah. Do you think? Do you think they should have done the setup where you see the team? Because you got Fujiguro and Nanami and the other dude, I think that's a good setup because they kind of explain what's going on. The guy explains it pretty well with the cell phone thing. But then you got the second team. The second team's not really doing much. It's the lady, the blonde hair lady, who's their like chaperone thing. And then one of the heads is the Zenin clan. the girl from Zen Clan that can't use curse energy, and then the girl that has the nail thing. And that whole talk doesn't really mean much outside of the fact, why can't we go in and out, and why you don't advise us to do that? Basically, kind of weird. And then the last one, I think, really kind of gave you most of the plot is the panda and the guy in the trench coat, because the guy in the trench coat mentions what happened with the hundred curses, and also mentions, hey, I'd rather be outside the veil than being inside the veil. But also, Panda's like, these people could get hurt. The guy in the trench coat's like, they're not gonna get hurt. Nothing's gonna go wrong. But we've already seen people get sucked into a hole, so into something. So yeah. What do you think? Okay, what do you think? What do you think we see next? Do you see us kicking off with fights next in the Veil, or do you think we see what happened to Mechamaru?
Actually, I think we start to see the more setup. We're gonna see a little bit more setup. We're gonna see like so now we know who the villains are. Who the heroes are. We might start to see who some of the villains are.
Okay.
Like, cause it's got to be some kind of process or something that they have to do that in order to get things really going.
So we're guaranteed two villains. We're guaranteed Ghetto and Mojito. For sure. Those are two of the villains in this. Are they going to be fighting directly? Mojito will, but I think Ghetto no. Outside of that, the only other villains I could think of, Volcano Dude is a villain. The tree thing from season 1 is a villain, but that'd be it. Then whatever curses you bring out. I will say this: the only thing I don't get, and I think it's a line that Trench Coat Dude says. Why is Ghetto? Why is why is Sudoru Ghetto going alone? Why is he going there alone? We could help him. And what's the purpose behind that? Do you think we find out the true purpose why he went in alone?
I don't think he came in alone. I just think it's still people behind him. They just ain't walked in yet because
Okay.
there's still people we haven't seen because we haven't seen our other MC. See, we
Yeah,
can't
we
get
haven't.
so caught up on Gojo that we forget that he's not our main character.
No, we haven't seen the true main character, which is supposed to be Tanji, not Tanji. What I'm trying to think, I can't think of his name right now. But yeah, he's supposed to be the main character. We haven't seen him yet. We don't know what team he's on. We don't know what he's doing. So it's kind of weird that's still there. So I'll ask you this before we end this podcast for the evening. What would you give this episode? And what would you give these first 2 episodes?
So for ev- so you said first 2 episodes. So for episode 1, season 2, I think I gave that a 8.1. I
Something like
think.
that. I think something like that. 8.1, 8.3, something like that. Yeah.
So I'll give this episode, a 8.6.
Okay. Explain.
You gave me a little bit more action, so you setting it up, but then it's like you just gave me like I'm hoping what seems to be like a little pinky dip in the pudding. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So with that being said, I see like if that's a bit to what y'all finna set up, then yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay. I will say this. I think the first episode, if I remember correctly, I think I gave like an 8. I gave the first episode like an 8. This second episode, the way they set things up, it's like an 8.7. I will
Okay.
say I will say this: it is a slow burn. We still have a lot to get through. We have almost 15 episodes to get through, so it is a slow burn. Like you said, they gave us a little bit of action. They did keep it that going.
Mm-hmm.
They are setting stuff in the background. We haven't seen our true main character. We haven't seen the villain side of all this conflict yet. We don't know what the true purpose of this is all for Ghetto. So, well, we know the true purpose of what he wants to do. He wants to eradicate all non-sorcerer, all non-curse users, to have only curse users, so there be no more curses in the world. But outside of that, we don't know why Ghetto had this plan in motion. Was this the plan to start that process, or what? But I am looking forward to episode 3 or episode 32. Excuse me, episode 32 of season 2. I think that's still weird they do that, but it works. Um, it's intriguing. It is intriguing. It feels like we're getting somewhere. I just hope it's not super slow to the point where we're going to start just having a lot of dialogue stuff. I will say the back half of this episode is mainly dialogue, but in its defense, you did give us a pretty long fight scene to counteract that.
Well, I don't know. I read in some review that they were saying that it's supposed to be a fight in every episode.
So we're going to fight every episode. That's cool because we're going to have 3 teams fighting on 3 different fronts. That's probably what's going to end up happening. But that's going to be kind of interesting. How you're going to have 3 teams with 3 different fights, but also keep the story aspect of it up. Because we fully haven't set up a lot of the extra stuff yet. So we still need to do that. But that was the Anime Dojo episode 21. I do thank you for watching. Hope you did enjoy. We'll be back next Tuesday for episode 33 of Jujutsu Kaisen season 2. By the way, I will say this, like I said before, sorry for the technical difficulties. So the first half is the kind of a little sparse, but we kind of truncated because we had talked about it fully on the previously. But I do hope you all enjoy. I do thank everybody who's been listening and watching and on YouTube and everything. Me and Chris love doing this. We're going to keep doing it. We enjoy just kind of talking about it as people who love anime. Look forward to it because we're going to have this Kaizen still going on. And then by the October 9th, we're going to have Dead Mountain Deathplay coming back. So look for in 2 weeks, we're going to have both these series back together again. We started out this season with this. Now we're going to continue the season with this. So look forward to that. I do thank Chris for joining me, and we hope to hear from next time. See you.
Yeah.